So your name says Stephen Wolfson, but the company's Lee's Ice. Either is someone's last name or does Lee know you're selling their ice?
So, contrary to the popular belief, when a lot of customers call us and they say Lee Ice, as if we're going to go get some buffet food somewhere, Lee is actually my uncle. So, him and my father founded the business. Lee was the mechanic, maintenance guy. My dad was the money guy. Together, they kind of blended the perfect relationship. So, we named it after Lee, or I guess I wasn't born, but it was named after Lee.
That's what you've been told. So okay.
That's what I've been told.
All right. And he's still involved in the business?
No.
No. Okay.
Neither. Yeah. No. I mean, so I came on board about 10 years ago, and we were very mom and pop at the time, super small. We were based out of one location in Sarasota. We had just opened up our Orlando branch. Came on board, and younger minds think a little different. So fast
Hmm.
forward about, I would like to say 30 days, but it was probably about 3 years. And just everything progressed technologically wise, equipment wise, and I was kind of the one that was manning a lot of that. So unfortunately, it kind of phased him out. Fortunately for him, he
Okay.
gets to travel a couple months out of the year and enjoy his retirement.
Yeah.
So on the
Okay.
map here, you can see that you guys service the Florida area, but we won't get too ahead of ourselves. Go ahead, Jeff, if you will
Yeah.
introduce our guest.
So our guest today is Stephen Wolfson from Lee's Ice in Central Florida. He is the president and co-owner, and they're based in Orlando. They are a family owned and operated ice manufacturer that's been serving Florida for over 30 years. You can see on their website they do dry ice, they do all kinds of different things. We were talking before we pressed record, and they do snow, and I think that's your favorite, right,
Oh
Steve?
yeah, yeah, snow. I mean, I can't wait till every December when you're not running anymore from summer and you're just bored out of your mind, and snow is the right project to just keep you entertained for a month out of the year.
Well, it was
No,
such an
it's
interesting story that you said that you just didn't have time to maybe tell us because it just happened because we asked how's your day going, and you're like, well, I mean you've had a few days, but can you tell us kind of what happened in this brief story that you have?
Yeah, so yesterday around lunchtime, we got a call from SeaWorld, which I'm sure everybody knows from Shamu. Um, but their penguin exhibit has a couple flake ice machines that make their habitat what it is, and they all decided to stop working at the wrong time, which we all kind of know in our business it happens. But
Mhm.
it's how you respond to it that makes the difference. And they called us up and pretty much, 90-degree weather saying, hey, can you bring us 15 tons of snow today to support our penguins? And within a couple of hours, we had a truck over there. We blew it, and then we got to have a little field trip into the penguin exhibit and touch some penguins. So
So you
it's
got
pretty
to
fun.
touch some penguins, right? So what do they feel like? Because I've never had the opportunity to touch a penguin.
So had that question a couple of times. All of our staff
All
that
right.
didn't get to go is like, oh, they're a little jealous. Um, Ethan, it's probably like your hair. So it's
Oh,
it's it's
all right.
it's gelled nice. It's gelled real
That's right.
nice, and
That's right.
it's a little slick. It's a little tacky. It kind of feels a little oily. Not that your hair does, but
I, I,
it's
this is turning from a compliment to I'm not sure anymore.
it's a unique texture. It's almost like it feels like a little bit of leather, and it doesn't feel like feathers, even though they're technically a bird. So
So it'd
Huh.
be closer to Jeff's head. So
I don't think so. No, no.
you know what? If it's a nice shine and you run the hand and it sticks a little bit, it's kind of like that.
okay, that's Tuesday afternoons when he shines his head. So that's that. We'd have to get him
So
on a
yeah,
Tuesday.
All right.
you yeah, you put the two of you guys together, and that's what you get.
Then we got a penguin. Okay, all right. Even though we're both tall dudes, but yeah, I feel you on that. So 15,000 pounds. How long did it take to blow something like that?
15 tons, so 30,000
15
pounds.
tons. Sorry, my bad.
It probably took us about an hour to get the ice into the totes, and then from there, another hour once we were on location to blow it into the trailer. They actually put it directly into a refrigerated trailer so they could just shovel it over the next 2 days, and I felt bad for those
Uh,
people. But
all
That's
right. Yeah.
that's not as long as I would expect it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're cranking out some snow pretty
Yeah. Is
fast,
that
and
one machine, multiple machines running to do that?
no, yeah, one machine. We've changed our process over the last couple of years where a lot of companies will take 20-pound bags, 40-pound bags, they cut them open, they dump it into a snowblower.
Yeah.
We've actually been using like 4-foot cardboard totes, so we just put it directly under our augers, fill it up. It's loose. We cut the boxes. It falls into the snow machine, and off to town you go. So
wow, wow. Okay, so I wanted to ask you. Your website talks about bagged ice, block ice, dry ice, snow, ice equipment rentals, bottled water. Anything we're leaving out? Like what comes next? What's your next move?
anything that's in a liquid water form or a frozen water form, we're gonna deal into it. But just because that our business is so niche and small when it comes to product SKU codes, um, haven't really given it too much thought. I got a good friend who just started up a canned water company that seems to be doing pretty well. So, I
Okay.
might look into dabbling into that a little bit, but
Yeah.
sometimes doing less is doing more too. So, we're really
Mm,
efficient at what we do, and we provide an excellent service and keeps the customers calling back. So,
yeah.
Yeah, and I think I may know who that friend is. He's a little busy at the moment with a couple of small items going on in his life. So I've checked in a time or two with him and the growing family and everything. But yeah, understood. Now, my understanding, I know that you have a president title, but you do a lot of different things. You guys have more than one location. Can you give us in the audience a little bit about y'all's operation, and your different titles?
yeah, so we've got 5 total locations. 3 are manufacturing facilities, with Orlando being the largest one. Fortunately, I've got a brother and a cousin that kind of work out of our Sarasota office, so they handle their job, so I don't really have to help out unless I'm bailing them out, which I've done this week. Uh, but
Not that
and
you're
then
counting.
also down, yeah, yeah, no, when we first opened Orlando, it was a lot of them helping us. So now it's a lot of me repaying the favors. Down in Fort Myers, we've got an awesome manager, been with us for a couple of years, really self-sufficient, don't have to do too much with him. And then really it's just kind of overseeing the distribution in Tampa, Cocoa, Orlando, and then our manufacturing process, which I think I'm still wet from being in the production room all day. But
Yeah,
if you're not improving, you're digressing. So,
yeah,
but as far
yeah,
as titles go, right, that was ultimately the
yeah.
question. Um, so all of our locations, this may change in the future, but as of now, they are all separate corporations as well. So I'm president in one, vice president in another, vice president in another, president in one, maybe secretary or treasurer in another one, but it's just a few hats on top of the ever growing hats that I always wear on my head anyway. So it's just a title. It's not that doesn't mean anything as far as your job. So
One of the things that has impressed, been impressed on me, dealing with the ice companies and the ice industry, and Jeff and I, and opportunities that we've had to talk with so many people. We're on episode 23 now, so we're closing in on our 2 year really anniversary. And just the way different ice companies really help each other. We had an episode about with the fire and
Yeah.
the
Hilkies.
Hilkies and
Yeah.
all the people that all over the region. I mean, we showed a map on that, all the different people coming, all over the Southeast, to be able to help people. I say Southeast, wasn't just the Southeast. I mean, it was coming from the
Yeah.
North.
Yeah. It was
It's
all
just
over.
amazing that such tight knit community. And I know you're talking about different businesses that you've created, but still helping each other out and, trying to succeed.
yeah, so I mean it's a very fraternal industry. My favorite line is there's hardly anything in this business that's proprietary. I can go to the same distributor or manufacturer. I could buy the same coolers. I could buy the same ice machines. Everybody can do it. So it's just how well do you do it? And it's over 10 years. I might be young. I've grown the business a lot. I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes. Um, but in the fraternal aspect too, yeah, when you start going to IPIA shows, you start going to SIE events, you meet a lot of people, some bigger companies, some smaller companies, and you build relationships. And I've got friends spread throughout the United States. I've got quite a few other companies in Florida, and some are in the same markets. And it's always from a aspect of trying to give good advice. I mean, I don't ever want anybody to fail.
Yeah.
So, if I'm trying to help you out, it's because I've probably made those mistakes and I'm trying to help you prevent those from happening as well.
Right.
But that's for somebody to heed advice, and, you take it or you don't. But
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you weren't an Iceman, what would you choose? What would be your life's endeavor if you weren't selling Lee's ice? So
well, you had half of it right. I'd be selling. So,
okay,
finishing
yeah,
up
all right,
college, I never wanted to do the family business. It was very mom and pop. It was very small. I didn't see the potential in it at the time, but I've always had the gift of gabber. I mean, I was just down in Fort Lauderdale 2 weeks ago helping my girlfriend's business partner with a tequila company. And I mean, sure, I got to indulge a little bit, but I mean, got to sell some bottles of tequila, and knowing nothing about the product. And I think I kept saying, hey, I want to see the sales that you did yesterday when I wasn't here versus today. It's a hyper competitiveness that I have. And I like to talk. And when you talk about stuff, I don't want to use the word, the term from the heart, but when you're authentic about it and your best
sure.
interest is their best interest, stuff lines up, and people tend to say yes.
So when you're the tequila, it just makes me think of craft ice, and I mean, has craft ice exploded in your area like it has a lot of different places?
I haven't done enough research into the market presence of it. We actually lease a couple thousand square feet out of our warehouse here to an ice sculpting company that does craft ice for a lot of the local bars, restaurants, theme parks, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I don't know how extensive it is, right? And then of course you're talking about personnel, you're talking about trucks, you're talking about storage, you're talking about the efficiencies of it. I mean, do I want to sit there like I did 10 years ago and have a bandsaw and cut up Klein bells into 1x1s and 2x2s? No. I mean, it's tedious work, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like the block ice aspect. And we still make block ice for snow cones and shaved ice vendors, and it's a very negligible part of our annual revenue, but we do it because these people have depended on us for it for a numerous of years. So whereas that market's kind of resided over the last 10 or 15 years, where a lot of marinas, and you have other vendors that were looking for that product, they're just not. So, but yes, I mean, I do like a good whiskey here and there, and I grab a couple of balls, or I grab a couple
Yeah.
of cubes from next door, and yeah, it's nice to enjoy your drink with.
A quick
Mhm.
story I've never even told Jeff. I had some friends of ours. They started. They opened a snowbiz location, and they were having a tough time trying to find block ice. So they started asking just friends just to freeze ice, and they weren't able to keep up. So then they had to ask more friends and throw it in their freezers, and unfortunately that endeavor didn't work out. I think maybe that had some to do with it, but at some
I mean,
point,
you could let them know I got a block machine that's
yeah.
on supply that he could take.
All right. Well, if he had not gone out of business, if we'd had this a little bit earlier conversation, but I guess it's on us. We didn't invite you soon enough. So I guess it's my failure for my friends' failures.
Or I was a little too shy to come on at the IPIA when I probably should have.
Maybe we'll go with that. We'll say it's your
So
fault. I'm okay with
so
that.
shame on both of us, right?
That's right. That's right.
So, so Stephen, we talk about the IPIA a lot. For folks who maybe haven't gone to a regional convention, I'd like to ask you to talk a little bit about your involvement with the SIE, the Southern Ice Exchange, and we'll take a look at the website as we're kind of talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So
Yeah.
the SIE is the Southeast Regional. Um, ice convention that happens annually. Usually it's in March. It's a great way where if you're maybe not as prepared to full-fledged join the IPI and have all the requirements that are involved in that, it's a great networking way. It's a great way to meet more people, to build those relationships, to find a mentor, to find somebody who, when you're in that time of crisis in the middle of summer, that you can depend upon for maybe a piece of equipment, a truckload of ice, whatever it may be. But then at the same time, it's a fun time. We're usually at some tropical locations, whether it's the beach, I think, Nashville most recently. And it's a lot of it's ice guy talk. I mean, it's great to just sit at the bar at the end of the day and hang out with the people that are going through the same thing that you go through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you said, it's not near as intimidating to go to some of the regional shows as it is the IPIA. We see, a lot of new people, and not to say that they're sitting there spinning around not knowing where to go, but it's almost too much to take in sometimes with it. But if you're wanting to get into it, I mean, these regional shows are fantastic to dip your toe into it and build yourself up.
Yep.
Well, it is, and there's a lot of stepping stones between when you first start an ice company and maybe you have your first 5-ton machine. When you talk about robotics and you talk about a 250-ton plus plant, there's a lot of steps that go in between there. So when you go to like an IPIA or you go to one of these things and you're touring an Arctic Glacier, a Ready facility, home city facility, it's you're seeing the drastic changes in it. You don't get to see this, the way on how to pave your own path and grow your business. I mean, it's hard. It's a lot of capital to get to that point, and you got to put the time in.
Mm-hmm. Well, what would you say for folks who are considering, joining a regional or at least visiting a regional? What would be the 2-second elevator pitch that you would give them?
I mean, it's kind of just that. If you're looking to be around people that understand what you're going through or you've been through, and you just want to kind of vent a little bit, kind of use it as therapy, you get some drinks involved, and you're gonna have a good time no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. Let's dip out of work real quick. Let's just talk about some your family, friends. We got some photos that we want to share here. If you want to talk through a few of these and just tell us who we're looking at, and yeah, just tell us a little bit about folks around you.
Yeah, so in this photo, it's actually at Hanukkah 2 years ago. So on the far right, that's going to be my brother Joe. He is kind of our general manager of our Sarasota location. That's his wife Tiara. She's actually our bookkeeper now, so we kind of keep it all in the family. And then that's their beautiful daughter, my niece Mina, who is named after her mom Minnie, and then my mom Nina. So
Oh, okay.
and then there I am with a highlight.
Let's see. Yeah. I'm a big Braves fan, so actually I just went to a Braves game yesterday with a buddy of mine. And so, what got you to, or I guess, where is this? This isn't Truist Park. Is this? Where's this at?
No, so this is actually down in Miami at I guess it's not called Marlins Park anymore. I think it's something Depot. So this
Yes.
is actually at the World Baseball Classic a couple years back. This is me and my best friend Ryan. He is a Braves fan, as you could tell.
Yep.
Obviously, I was representing USA in the championship game against Japan that unfortunately didn't go in our favor. But if you're a baseball fan, I mean, that was the experience of all experiences. I mean, we had bought those tickets way back when USA was in the qualifying rounds, and then to watch the game end on Shohei Ohtani versus Mike Trout was just incredible.
That's pretty sick. Yeah, absolutely.
So this is going to be down in Barbados. I actually traveled with Tony Dixon quite a bit a couple years ago. I was going through some trying times. I guess I went through my early midlife crisis where I just said, what? I'm gonna
Early midlife. Yeah.
forget work. Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be another one soon. When you're in the ice business, it's like every 5 years that one happens. But yeah, no, this was with Tony and his family. We went down in Barbados. Actually, it was literally a last minute thing. He told me the day before. I booked the flight and I was on a plane the next morning, headed to Barbados, and I surprised him. So that was fun.
Oh, cool.
Again, this is us. Justin owns an ice company in Barbados. Tony's now son-in-law, Rob, and myself. We were playing golf at one of the golf courses there.
Looks like a beautiful skyline. Now let's talk about hair. Okay, I'm not sure I can beat this one here.
Hey, I mean, you said the LinkedIn photo looked fake. That one is real. So, it's been good, man. But as the stresses of the ice world get to you a little bit, you start to recede, you start to lose it a hair. So I don't know. I might have to open a company up overseas and have a little procedure done down the road.
Yeah. I was going to say take over to Turkey and they'll fix you right up. I hear. So that's what I've been trying to get Jeff, and he keeps
are you
telling
confessing to something?
No, I'm not confessing. I'm just saying I know it's an option. So I do like having my hair. So but it's an option, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this was a really fun day. So this was at TPC Sawgrass at the Players Championship this past
Yeah.
year. That's going to be me and my girlfriend on the 17th green. We actually somehow we finessed on getting into the Jaguars suite. And
Yeah,
I don't know
nice.
if you have the photo. Well, no, you don't have the photo because it was on my phone. But about maybe eight seats down from us was Trevor Lawrence and his wife.
Oh,
Cool.
okay.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
super
tell you
cool
what,
experience.
send us that photo. We'll put it. We'll get Santiago does our post production. We'll get slung in there. And now, if you don't send it, this is going to be in there, and everybody's going to know that you let us down.
I've got the photos. Don't worry
No
about it.
pressure.
That's right. Yeah, no pressure, no pressure. And Jeff had found this one,
So I was a little bit curious. Who's in the picture with you here?
So this is actually the best friend at the baseball game. This is his wife, Kaylee. Um, he had tweaked his back or his leg at the time playing softball, and she needed a fill-in. So for the day, I was her acting husband. Probably was probably was the worst day to choose to be her husband. Because I got forced into running I don't know, it might have been a 10K. Let's say it was a 10K. It was probably
Okay.
we'll go
it still
10K.
sucked either. It still sucked either way. You can see how great she looked. I had no preparation. I just looked like I'm dead.
I mean, it's hard to see, but your hair doesn't look as near as good, or you don't look as near as refreshed as you did on the boat. So,
Yeah.
so is
So again,
this
this is
your niece?
this is my niece. Yep.
Nina?
And then my brother in the background. This was us at a rock festival where we got to go see his favorite band, Rise Against, and we had a good time. So obviously, you could tell she was equipped to handle 10 hours out there and not be bored.
Right. Well, and I have to say, your brother and the photos there, he does not lack in the hair department at all.
No, nor does he groom it.
I got you.
It's all wild.
Oh, man.
All right. So I think it's time for your first icebreaker. Stephen, I noticed that you went to USF, so University of Southern Florida or South Florida.
South
Um,
Florida. Yep.
Yep. Get it right,
but
Jeff.
but on your company website, you list UCF. So I'm wondering if you've got some mixed feelings there. Is that one of those like uh,
I think
you'll
Jeff is
send somebody
asking,
else to take care of
or
it?
do you
You're not
spit in their
volunteering
ice?
on
I'm
that?
just kidding. You don't spit in anybody's ice, but
You
if
know,
you were,
ironically enough, the first year that we ever did UCF's ice for their stadium was the year that they were the national champions. So I always like to say, yeah, maybe we did put something in their ice that helped them not win. But
Performance
it's cool.
enhancing
It's cool, right? I
ice.
mean, maybe we're not quite Alabama, but it's pretty cool to do ice at a venue that is top class. But yes, I went to USF. Yeah, there's a little bit of bitterness there, but I mean, ultimately, I reside in Orlando now. They cut me a check a couple times a year, so I can't be too upset about it.
Gotcha.
well, so you said USF. I'm an Auburn Tiger. He's whatever,
An
Alabama.
Alabama fan.
But we did see a picture that you had a Kentucky shirt on. So what's your affiliation with Kentucky?
Zero. So I
You just
so
like the blue look. I got you. All right.
no, so ironically enough, Cassandra and myself, my girlfriend, we went to Louisville to go to the Bourbon Trail, and who knew that I think it's like a weekday night, and everything closes after like 5 o'clock. So there's no distilleries open. There's hardly any bars open. So we're like, what can we do? So the first thing that we went to go look for was, Louisville basketball because they're pretty good.
Mhm.
We were like, hey, is there a game going on? There wasn't, and then we happened to sure enough see it, and it was that Kentucky was playing Georgia that day. So we ended
Okay.
up we bought tickets online for like $30, sat in the nosebleeds. We're like, we cannot go into a stadium without gear from them, so we went to the closest Walmart. We bought Kentucky alumni shirts, and we went into the game, and we had a good time.
So oh my gosh,
That's
that's good stuff. I mean, so you were like a football crasher. I mean, but you played the part. So good on you
Yeah,
for
yeah,
doing that. So well,
yeah. It's
we talked.
definitely when you go to a game like that, it's definitely different than you know somebody who's in the American Conference or something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
those games they're the real deal.
the SEC football and I mean, you being at Kentucky is a different. I mean, they have a good atmosphere, but as you get into the Alabama, the Auburns, the Georgias, I mean, some of those big ones. I mean, it's just. I mean, we're rabid. I mean, we are complete idiots. I don't why we care so much. I do not understand, but here we are living the dream, and we're just ate up with it. So it is what it is. So
Yeah.
obviously you're an iceman. You said if you weren't an iceman, you would definitely be in something marketing. What do you do when you're not doing anything work related? What hobbies, interests do you have?
I feel real bad because if my girlfriend watches this podcast, she's gonna be like, "Yeah, you knew this question was coming," because I because I don't really have a big answer for it.
Well, it
I mean,
sounds like spending time with her is your best answer. So,
if she's
it
listening.
is, and if she's also listening, she knows it'd be a lot easier if she lived in the state.
oh,
So
Oh,
yeah,
okay, all
no,
right.
but
Hey, shot
we're,
fired.
we're not pulling punches here.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I love what I do, and unfortunately, sometimes my warehouse feels like my real house, and sometimes my house feels like where I just sleep. Um,
All right.
but I mean, and especially being from Tampa, when you come to a different city and you don't have a lot of friends here, and then at the level that you're at in a business, you can't really befriend on a certain level your employees. So making outside friendships is a little bit more difficult. So I always try to find friends playing golf.
Hmm.
Somehow I always get paired up with men that are in their 50s and 60s, and they ask for my number, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm trying to find people, closer to my age that I can hang out with on a consistent basis. Um, up until a couple years ago, I played travel slow pitch softball and was pretty
Okay.
competitive in that, but got kicked off the team when we were just starting out the ice company because I was taking phone calls in the outfield, so that didn't go very well.
Hey, it'd be better if you get you some meta sunglasses that never know. You just rock on with the
Yeah, that
conversation.
wasn't really a thing back then, and but it's great because I mean, all those friends that I played softball with now, I mean, they know the work that went in to go, for us to get to where we're at. And I mean, it speaks volume. Unfortunately, I had to sacrifice a couple of things along the way, but I can pick that up now, kind of after I've established what I was setting out to do.
Well, Stephen, I'll tell you you better hurry. By the way, but and I'll explain in a second. But if you want to come up to Alabama, we got some beautiful golf courses in this area. But if you don't want to have to hang out with a 50-year-old, you better get up here quick, okay? 'Cause I am steamrolling. I mean, it is. Yeah, I'll be 49 in July, so it's
You're
getting
you're
close.
you're good. You're good. You got plenty of time still.
Yeah, but you said that you didn't want anybody over 50, or you always get paired up with 50-year-olds. So I'm like, if you want to get me in my 40s, you're going to have to hurry up. So,
So is that going to be the excuse? Is you're closer to 50 if I end up beating you?
well, yeah, you have to beat me first, but yeah, then we'll go with that one. So, no, I try when people ask me what my handicap is, I say golf. So, I do enjoy playing, and I enjoy trying to play, but anyway, it's so hard because if you play 18, travel there back 18, I mean, it's a 6 hours out of your day. I mean, it's just too much for me typically to try to commit to that much time. So
Yeah.
I got other things
Yeah,
I want
no,
to do.
it's hard.
Yeah,
It's a hard
absolutely.
sport. I mean, you see interviews with professional athletes all the time. For some reason, nobody wants to play golf when they're young. But all these professional athletes, whether they're basketball players, they all want to do it when they're professionals at their sport.
Yeah,
But I mean, they'll
it
attest
costs
that
too much money.
ball is the
Yeah,
that
you,
too.
you can't afford it until you get older. So, oh me.
That's yep.
Well, it sounded to me like your answer somewhat was you enjoy what you do. So, it's. I'm not saying you don't want a hobby and other stuff, but I mean, you're wrapped up in what you do. So,
Yeah, I mean it's I'm investing in my future. I can't make that excuse up forever because I'll be 70 years old before I know it saying the same thing. But yeah, I mean you make sacrifices when you're younger so that you can enjoy stuff when you're a little older, you know?
no,
Not not,
it's
not
all
quite
right.
old enough yet, but
He was trying to
So
be nice to you and
yeah,
I. So,
yeah. So
no,
let's
and I mean
transition.
fortunately yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, fortunately, I got a really good work ethic from my father, and my uncle. I mean, it's hard that you find a second or a third generation ice guy nowadays that might
yeah.
have a kid that's in their 20s that do they want to do this? Not a lot of them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's since we've been talking about work so much, let's take a few minutes and look at some work pictures that you shared with us, and Ethan's going to pull those up, and we'll take a look at them and just speak through them like you did the others.
Yeah, so as you can see with the pamphlet in my hand, this is at USF. So every year they do a Fast 56, which is the 56th fastest growing businesses that are, owned by alumni. And my father went to USF as well, so this was us receiving an award that wasn't as big as the people in front of us, unfortunately, but an award nonetheless.
What's the significance of going with 56? Seems like an odd number.
Yeah, to be honest, as you and I promise you, I don't drink this much, but for some reason, all these photos I have a drink in my hand, and I keep talking about it. But it's I've got a attention disorder, so I couldn't tell you. I didn't pay
No, 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 that's fine. Hey, fair enough.
enough.
No, we're all
But it
about
is a weird number,
transparency.
yeah.
So,
So this is a couple years back. We did a snow for somebody's private residence in Winter Park, which, if you're not familiar, is a very high-end part of exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
that's
it's a it
legit
was
right
it
there.
wasn't a little baby house. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty outstanding.
So this is not me. So you got Lee on the right. As you can see, he must have just came from Bali or some vacation.
Hmm.
You got my dad. You got my dad next to him. My brother next to my dad, and then you've got our cousin over there on the left.
So that's unkept hair, brother, right?
Yes, unkept. A lot of things, brother.
That's-
That's that's Lee and his wife Carol. She was a performer at Disney World. She's a bundle of energy, fantastic smile, and she'll light up a room and she'll talk your ear off for a long time too. So that's she just likes when they're in town to do some events.
yeah.
This was back at MS event that we did to help support multiple sclerosis. This was back at Raymond James Stadium. God, this had to be 8 years ago. It was a long time. That was a long time ago. Um, ooh, yeah.
I
So
thought
this is
this was a neat one.
yeah. So this was at Snowcat Ridge, which is a local snow park. Which, as ironic as that sounds for Florida, um, it's a serial entrepreneur who opens it up from like November to January every year, and they usually pack that dome with yeah, a ton of ice. And unfortunately for them, but fortunately for us, the first year that they opened up and the year
Mhm.
after that, their snow blowers did not work. So we had to come in and blow, God, I want to say it was like 40 to 50 tons every single day. We had to be there at 4 a.m. We had to be out the door by 7 a.m. It
Wow.
was, yeah, that was a lot of work.
Ah, cool.
So again, Lee, this is actually at our Orlando facility here when we were first getting it put together. So this looks like what was our freezer at the time. It's currently our production room now. It's roughly maybe 3,000 square feet, but we put all the walls up ourselves. We hung the evaporators. We placed the condensers. We did all the pipe work, and we didn't do the rebar and the concrete. Obviously, we paid people to do that, but that's us there doing it.
So, so explain to me, as a guy who's never done it, what's on the floor under there in the back?
So there's insulation that goes beneath, and then there's a barrier, kind of like at your home. If you're going to put hardwood floors down, you don't want water to
Yeah.
get to your subsurface. So even though your freezer might be kept at 15, 20 degrees, that ambient temperature, hot air rises, cold air falls. So it actually falls beneath the subsurface, and it could essentially cause cracks, from water expanding under the sublevel and putting cracks in your concrete. So
Yeah. Thank you for the explanation.
yep. Again, this is us putting this facility together. This had to be probably about 8 years ago. That's my cousin Roy. He's kind of our. He worked with Lee the longest, so he learned a lot of stuff from him. He works on a lot of our ice machines, our bins. I mean, he'll cut down a diesel motor and repair it and rebuild it. Um, he does not look like that anymore. Fortunately for him, he looks in a lot better shape. But
So, jack of all trades, it sounds like he's got, yeah, got that ability. So,
Well,
we
there.
all are.
yeah. So, obviously you're a part of the younger generation coming in. You're talking about a third generation. What would you tell your peers, or what would you like to, who want to take the reins one day? Are there a couple pros, cons, or you talked about, hey, I probably hit a mistake here or there. I can help you with stuff, but can you surmise that down a little bit to try to help some younger folks?
I mean, it's at least this industry, it is a lot to chew. There's a lot of liability on your hands, whether it's workers' comp, auto liability. So safety, the right protocols, the right standard operating procedures have to be in place to protect you and to protect your employees. Um, if you're not, you know, willing to work hard, it's definitely something that's not for the faint of mind. So I mean, unless you're going to commit to it, don't do it.
We I've our other one of our lines of business. We've been looking to try to hire somebody, and it's an entry level position. And a part of what we've been finding is trying to get with some of the universities and graduates coming out. And almost every question, every time they want to find out, they want to say, "Is this an in person or a remote job?" and and it's just like some of the professors are just immediately, I don't know if they're training them and say, oh, you can come here, do this, you can get a remote job and just work from home. Obviously in your industry that's not possible, but I feel like it's an indictment to some of the work ethic that the mentality that they already have coming out of school to get started. I know we're not, we're I'm mixing a little bit of what's going on here, but it really, what you said about the work ethic, uh, it's harder and harder to find.
It is. I mean, it's, basically whenever I hire, at least as far as a driver, because we work those guys hard, my goal is for you not to accept the job. Because if you accept the job, I've kind of given you the ringer about it, and I know you're serious
Mhm.
about it. So, I mean, my goal is, yeah, I always try to scare somebody off. I mean, we're conducting a couple in-person interviews today, the guys that made it past the pre-screening, but I mean, it's not an easy job by any means,
Yeah.
especially with us. We don't use helpers on any of our vehicles. Our guys are going out there doing 20, 24 stops a day. I mean, it's fast paced. It's go, go, go. And unless that's something that you want to do, there's great money in anything for, employees, for drivers. It's, you don't have to go to college nowadays to make an effective career.
Hmm.
There's a lot of trades out there, whether it's, refrigeration, it's electrical work, plumbing, you name it. I mean, there's money to be had, and you just got to have
I
the work
agree.
ethic and the dedication to it.
So that surprises me that you would just say that we don't hire any helpers, any driver helpers. Is That's a conscious choice, a business choice that you've made?
Yeah, I mean it is. So we pay our drivers on a commission basis. So we had an option for them back in the day that their commission rates started off a little lower, and then we do a bonus incentive where if they hit X amount of bags and they go over for the week, they get additional on top of that. But the problem is helpers, people in general, are undependable. So if we're creating a workload for somebody who should be with a second person, that person needs to be there every day. And when they don't show up, and now your driver's driving an hour away and they can only complete 3/4 of the route or half the route, it throws everything else off for the week. So our logic was we would rather not overcompensate our drivers because they're paid what they should be getting paid for how hard they work. But it really came down to we wanted our drivers as the main people that we retain every year. We didn't want to have them look at, what their income was as a reason to look for another job. And same thing, we wanted them to know that what's on their plate is on their plate. They don't have to share it with anybody else.
Well, and I
Okay.
could see
Yeah.
reduction of animosity if you get stuck with a helper. You're like, I'm with Bill today. Bill doesn't do
Oh,
nothing.
he's
So
terrible.
he's terrible.
Yeah.
So I mean, what you're putting in. You know what's in front of you. If you, I mean, it's your operation. I mean, in a way, you're empowering your person to almost be their quasi own little businessman or woman for that day while they're on that route, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I try to make my guys understand that even though they're not actually an owner operator of their vehicle, they're an owner operator of their route. I mean, they get paid commission. So if they have terrible
Hmm.
customer service, if they just say, "Oh, I know this customer doesn't need it," and they run out of ice and they change vendors because of that, I mean, that is effectively money off of every single one of their paychecks for the next 51 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
No.
how well you do is how well you earn. I mean, we have drivers that they'll go into stops and try to solicit new accounts because it's on their route.
Hey.
So
Yeah.
it works well for us.
Very cool.
Yeah, Jeff, I'll dive in real quick. You took the other icebreaker. I want to throw this out to you.
All
So,
right.
we've got a picture we want to show. We're just kind of curious on Banner and Facebook. There was this eye popping vet here. Is this your car? Or is this just a dream car of yours?
No, it's my daily driver.
Nice.
Ooh, man,
Fortunately, I'm in a position where I could splurge from time to time. And,
that's beautiful.
yes, I think that working, 60, 70, 80 hour work weeks, you have to reap the benefits and enjoy it a little bit, or, what's the point of it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've got a 22 Corvette that I custom ordered. I mean, I drive it every day. It currently has a. I'm gonna do another shots fired here real quick, but my manager in Cocoa was backing a event trailer up and actually hit my door on my passenger side. So there's currently a
Uh,
fiberglass ding in it that
hmm,
I'm skeptical to have to fix right now, but it's something that needs to get done.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, I would love to see your brother with the unkept hair if you take off the top and just see what that thing turns into. So.
Yeah, I mean Florida is the right place to take the convertible top off and enjoy
Yeah.
the wind in your hair and the weather.
Look, you work hard. You need to be able to let some steam off, man. Congratulations. That's a beautiful
Very,
car. So
very cool.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, well,
we're getting
we want
close to the end. Yeah.
yeah, we're getting close to the end. We want to ask a couple more things. One is, what do you see for the future of the ice industry? Just looking, 5, 10, 20 years from now, what do you see coming down the pipe?
I mean, I would love to see easier autonomous delivery systems. I mean, I'm sure that in the next couple of years, there's going to be some kind of revelation in the packaging world for us. I mean, there's the array of different types of packaging equipment that you can use, but something that is super dependable, low maintenance, doesn't require necessarily a technician or a maintenance staff to be
Mhm.
there all the time with it to make sure it's running right. Um, Obviously, we're moving into a lot of truck changes coming in the next 5 to 10 years, whether it's electric or whatnot. But I don't know, it's hard because ice is very niche. I always compare it to the opposite of like Coca-Cola. If you go to the store and they got Diet Coke, regular Coke, Coke Zero, and Diet Cokes out, they got other options. But when it comes to ice, it's an on-demand 24/7 service per se, where people for some reason when they don't have it, they go crazy. So
Yeah. They got the
I don't know.
drones. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, they got the drones starting in different areas where they'll take your package and set it down. I can't ever see really the drones being applicable just for the sheer weight of the ice. But the
It'll have to be
autonomous side of it,
robots, man.
yeah, the robots. Who knows?
Optimus
Yeah,
delivering your
yeah.
ice.
Yep. I mean, we have robots here already, but hey, if you can get them that stack it and mimic what a human does and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
there's an ROI to be had on it, then it's something that
Yeah,
we would definitely evaluate. Or I'll just have it do my dishes at the house.
that's right. That's right. Um, is that another shot fired, or is that just on your own
That's
self?
that's a shot fired against myself. Yeah.
So last question for you. So, earlier we asked you about being a part of the younger generation and you gave some advice, but as far as advice that you would just give to another ice company, I mean, obviously you got your hands in a lot of different, I mean, like you talked about earlier, you wear so many different hats, so many different roles that you but what, any advice that you'd give to folks out there as we close out?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I've got a couple of smaller ice company friends that are in the state of Florida, and my biggest couple pieces of advice for them are always, be patient and know your worth. I mean, it took me a long time to understand what my worth was as far as the business, as far as our product, as far as our dependability. And, don't sell yourself short. Somebody's always going to want ice. So, it's not worth saying yes to everybody because that's not feasible.
Yeah.
That's not a great investment of your money. So, you got to be smart about it, but, you got to know your worth.
Yeah, a lot of icemen that I talk to that that we don't have on camera. I mean, they 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 talk about the same things that you talked about that you just can't say yes every time, but it's so tempting to, right? And you just want to try to do everything you possibly can for everybody, and it's very very difficult. I mean, we deal with that in our industry. I hate to tell anybody no, or unfortunately it's not looking like it, or later, but I mean sometimes that's the best answer. It's the only answer that you can give.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
unfortunately, no matter what, somebody's always going to be disappointed, right? It's impossible to live up to what somebody else's expectations are always going to be. So whether it comes from a service level, dependability level, product level, you got to do what you fixate on and focus on, and you know either you service them and they're happy with it. If they're not happy with it, they can go somewhere else, and that's something you have to be okay with.
Yeah.
mm. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for taking the time. We've enjoyed it and learned a lot about you and your company along the way. And thank you so much for sharing with everyone. We've been coming to you from the RouteMan Studios from KCS headquarters in Pelham, Alabama. Uh, thanks.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, everybody, for the podcast. And Stephen, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.
Absolutely, guys. Appreciate you guys having me.